Well, these catch-ups have become one of our favorite traditions on the show. You know him from being one of the most exciting fighters in the lightweight division, and fans can't wait to find out what's next. Coming straight out of Auckland, New Zealand, Dan Hangman Hooker, welcome to your second home here at Submission Radio. Thanks for taking some time from watching Street Beefs to join us on the show.
Yeah. Nah, it's been a long time between drinks for me, and I'm looking to pick myself a fight. So I know you two are the men I needed to call, and then these are two men that can help me find an opponent. So that's why we're here today.
I love it. What an honor. I feel like we're part of the committee, the Dan Hooker picking his next fight committee. Maybe we can work on the title of that committee, but a huge honor to be here.
That's a little long, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, maybe shorten it to an acronym or something. For once, we didn't send you like a trillion messages and become stage 5 clingers. You hit us up and you said, let's do it. All right. So when you look at the division, there's a few exciting fights. Is there anybody that you've shortlisted or targeted in the division that excites you, Dan?
That's like the funny thing about it. I have no. There were no stipulations on my end to the UFC. I tried to get on from my. This is coming purely from my perspective. It's funny how like people get carried away with things on social media. I messaged Sean Shelby, messaged the UFC. I said, is there anybody that wants to fight on Israel's card in June, which is 10 days away? This is like 5 weeks ago. He came back to me and he said, there's no one that's ranked, that's free or uninjured. So I left it. I was like, well, it's not as simple as, a lot of other teams that are American based or something where they go, oh, you can't fight in June. Oh, we'll just push it to July or push it to August. It's like we have to do the whole team go over there, quarantine process, wait for the whole team to come back, and then like build it up again and get ready to go again. So it's a bit more of a process for us coming from this side of the world. So then I messaged the UFC and I said, this is a position I'm in now. I messaged the UFC and I said, is there anybody that wants to fight on Volk's card? So I'm waiting for that. As soon as that get announced, Volk versus Ortega, as soon as a date gets set for that, that's the card I'm looking to get on. Team would be ready to go again, and I'm just looking for an opponent. But from my end, there were no stipulations. I never said the guy had to be ranked higher, had to be ranked this. I never stipulated a name. I never made any kind of stipulations to the UFC about anything like that. So it's just funny how people get carried away with like this sort of narrative on social media.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing that you're talking about is a lot of people are saying, why not Islam Makhachev? Why didn't that fight come together? I think he might have been on social media saying how people were sort of ducking him and stuff like that. So just to clarify for all those people, Dan, and I mean, you are never a guy that would duck any kind of fight. Trust me, we know that. But just to clarify, the UFC never mentioned him to you. He was never even an option.
I guess the only reason that fight didn't get put together is he wasn't ready to go in June. That's the only thing that I can see from my end. He's got himself another fight. He gets through that or whatever, he's ready to go on Volk's card. Like, it's to me, I never stipulated an opponent. I've never been offered that fight. That name has never come across my desk. So it's funny. But I'm not Paul Felder. Those kind of people don't. I guess they don't irritate me like they irritated him.
You're talking about the incident where Paul's like, you would never say that to my face, and the guy's like, nope, because he kicked my ass.
He's like, just when he retired, he's like, I'm sick of everyone calling me a coward and calling me this and calling me that. I'm not. Yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny the way that some people's fans get a little bit caught up, not in reality.
I mean, it's funny as well because if anybody knows Dan Hooker, they know you're down for a good scrap. Just quickly, while we are on Islam, what do you make of him as a guy in the division? Because a lot of people are saying, hey, this could be one of the top guys in the future. Have you seen much from him? I know he's got a fight booked for July 17th against Thiago there, but have you seen much of him, and does he impress you at all? Do you think you'll eventually maybe see him up the top there? Or do you think people may have maybe a little bit jumping the gun a little bit with him?
No, like he is, like he's tough, he's talented. A lot of people were saying some big things. He got a good win over Drew Dober. I trained with him in Elevation in Denver as well. So they got a good, that kind of caught my attention, the way that he was able to take down and control Drew. So there's, he's a top talented, like up and coming guy, but there's Gregor Gillespie, there's a bunch of other guys coming into the division. So it's like, it's a very hard division to make a name for yourself and really stand out in this division. But as far as I'm concerned, like he's got a fight. And I'm looking at people. Let's get real. This is what we're here for. We're looking to find a fight. I can't find a fight with that man. He has a fight. I need to find a fight with someone that's free, someone that's uninjured. So from where I'm saying, you guys need to help me out. All the fans watching this as well, they need to help me out, because I genuinely don't know. I don't know everyone's health records. I know that, I'd love to fight RDA, former champion, but I know that he's got some kind of injury. He doesn't want to make it public, or that's fair enough on him. But I don't want to call someone out that's injured. So you guys need to help me out and tell me whether these people are ready to go or not.
Well, first of all, Dan, before we even get into it, I'd like to welcome everybody to Submission Radio, Looking for a Fight, ladies and gentlemen, episode 1, season 1, with Dan Hooker. We don't know if it's going to be as big as the Dana White one. We don't have Matt Serra, but nevertheless, let's try and figure this out. Cass, I was going to say, kicking off this process, I suppose, what did you think of Beneil Dariush and Tony Ferguson, and where do those guys rank for you in a potential fight?
Yeah, like I would say those two guys those are two great fights for me. Those are two fights that I would really love. It's funny that the fight with Tony. So like, I feel like Tony's just a guy that I would love to fight. I feel like the fans would love to see that fight. I feel like everybody wants to see that fight, and I'm sure it'll be one heck of a fight. It's just funny that you'll get like less credit for beating him now, even though I feel like it's just as tough as a fight than he was, 3 fights ago. It's like Gaethje beats him, gets a interim title. Oliveira beats him, gets a title shot. Beneil like moves up, but now you beat him. Like I might, you beat Tony Ferguson, I might move up like maybe one rank. Where I feel like it's just as dangerous of a fight. I feel like he's just as good as he was 3 fights ago. He's still unpredictable. He's still dangerous. He's still like a real like venomous, dangerous guy to fight. But that fight, when that name gets said, that's a fight that gets me excited. That's a fight where you kind of get goosebumps and you get the adrenaline pumping. And really, as a fighter, that's what we're in this for. When someone says, "Oh, you want to fight this guy?" And it doesn't get your blood pumping, even though you're going to do it, but you really want to chase those fights that get you excited and they get your blood pumping. Tony Ferguson is definitely one of those fights for me. Beneil, good performance, great performance. I feel like Beneil's like the ugly girl at the dance. And I don't mean that. No, Beneil, I don't mean that. And I'm not calling you ugly, mate, but I don't mean that in like an offensive way. I mean that as in, I feel like he's probably the most talented guy, like skill for skill. I feel like he's the most skillful guy in the division. I feel like he's one of the most well-rounded guys, but he doesn't have like the name recognition that some of the other guys in the top 5 have. Like if you're looking at the top 5 of the division, Beneil Dariush is probably the most unknown guy, but in my opinion, the most underrated guy. So I would love that fight. I know he's on like an incredible win streak at the moment. I would love the opportunity to get in there and test myself against Beneil. And I don't, even though he jumped so high up in the rankings, I don't see a lot of people calling out Beneil Dariush. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anyone I do not see a single person calling out Beneil Dariush. So I will put my hand up for that fight if he's ready to go in a couple of months. Then I would love to put that together as well.
Well, that's right. There's like almost a logjam at the top of the division anyway. So Beneil might be. I think he did want to take a little bit of time off, but he might be waiting for a while. So that's like you're saying. If you're not in it, or you got to be in it to win it, kind of thing. And just to clarify, so being on Volk's card, you're looking around September, right? I think that's September 4th, 5th in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I think that's the date for that card. So I think we're like. Perfect time to pick a fight, you know. Now these guys are saying they need a bit of this, they need a bit of that. I think it's 13 weeks now, so you get one more week of holiday, lads, and then you jump into a 12-week training camp. So that's the spot we're in right now.
What a good sales pitch!
Perfect fight picking season.
Yeah,
we're at a perfect
It's right.
fight picking
It's right.
time. It's almost as if I've planned this conversation.
Man, I like this Tony Ferguson fight though. You're selling me. You're selling me on this.
But that's the only thing. I like. Tony was like, people were saying Tony might be injured. So I don't want to call Tony out, and I don't want to fight Tony if he's not at 100%. I don't want there to be any kind of doubt. I don't want to call someone out that's injured. That's why I don't want to call out RDA unless he says he's good to go. Tony Ferguson's the same. I don't want to fight Tony Ferguson that's not at 100%. So if he comes out and he says that he's at 100%, well, then I'm going to be knocking on his door pretty loud. But until he says that, we'll wait for him.
Well, it's interesting because he was going to be scheduled for what was it, the Conor and Dustin card, but it looks like that fight fell through. So it's kind of a shame that you didn't get RDA because you've been kind of wanting something for a while now. And just to clarify, that was never offered to you, even a while ago while you were sort of recovering. They never offered you RDA, did they?
Nah, that fight. Well, he's never really shown any interest in that fight. So it's like, how many times do you want to ask the guy out? You know what I mean?
You got to be persuasive, Dan. Otherwise, you never get the show. You know, you got to be persuasive.
Before you get a little bit disheartened with it, you know.
And then you just move on.
Yeah, out his window with a boombox. Fight me. Just playing. Feel the pain or whatever.
What I gotta do? Ask nicely.
Dude, another guy that's in the division, and this is a little bit of a long shot, but I guess you're not in it unless you're in it to win it, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, as our friend Michael Jordan used to say, is Michael Chandler. He's coming off this loss. He's looking to come back in there and stay active. You never know what's happening with Justin Gaethje. If he's looking for a quick turnaround, and obviously you guys know each other well, is he a rematch? I know he's probably on that list of yours to try and get that rematch. If he pops up, would that be a perfect rematch, perfect time to get back in there with him, do you think?
Oh, I would absolutely love that. I love that, but I know full well, like if you want a rematch, you need to earn a rematch. It's not like I've done anything. Oh, I haven't had the opportunity to. I haven't fought since then. He challenged for a title. I feel like, and a lot of other people feel like that fight doesn't go that way 9 times out of 10. So I don't feel like he's would actively hunt that fight either. I feel like him and Gaethje, I feel like stylistically that's a terrible fight for Chandler. I feel like Gaethje is like the perfect style to kind of tear him apart. Yeah, I would love that fight, but rematches don't. It's not like I'm gonna hold my breath for it. It's not something that I feel like is gonna happen. So I'm not gonna hold my breath for it. When you get enough, once you're in my position, you get enough losses on your record. They really stop. Like after the first one, you get your first loss. You're like, I'm gonna rematch him. It's like burns a hole in you. And then you get like a second one, then a third one. Then you kind of lose track. And there's like a fourth and a fifth, and it's very hard to hold that many grudges with that many people.
You're like, honestly, it's like Kill Bill. The list gets longer.
You're like lose track.
You're just like, numb. You're just numb to it at some point.
You're just like, nah. You come to a point where you're just like, man, it's not you. you just improve as a fighter, continue to grow, continue to improve, and then just, it's like if you look back at my record, there's not a lot of guys there's no one I don't feel like I would beat if we step back in there. And it comes to a point where you just improve so far and continue so long, where it comes to a point where you don't even have to actually rematch them to kind of prove that point. Everyone just knows.
You got to treat him mean to keep him keen, Dan. So maybe the rematch doesn't come together, but Michael Chandler just sits there wishing it did, So we've got to do it from that perspective. But let's just quickly, before we talk about the division, though, because this is a tradition as well, let's get the Dan Hooker top 3 most wanted opponent list. So we just spoke about it. And let's just keep these guys on there. Let's keep RDA. Let's keep Tony Ferguson, maybe a Gregor, or let's keep a Beneil on there just in case. What is the top 3 list for Dan Hooker right now? If it could happen tomorrow, if the fights could get locked in, let's start with number 3.
Number 3, I feel like it'll be RDA. I've been asking him to the dance for a while. I've been knocking at his door. No dice. That's why we'll put him number 3. We'll put him lowest on the list.
All right. So number 2 is the more likely scenario. Who's sitting there at number 2 for you, Dan?
It have to be Tony Ferguson. It have to be that's the fight that gets me excited. That gets my blood boiling. That I feel like is the fight that the fans want to see. I feel like that's a guaranteed war. That's guaranteed trouble right there. Only reason he's not number 1 on the list is that I'm unsure if he's healthy at 100%. I don't want to fight Tony Ferguson if he's not at 100%.
That's a fight of the century candidate right there, I think. All right, let's go to number 1. What is the number 1 Dan Hooker choice for his next opponent?
I feel like it's that ugly girl that dances, that Beneil Dariush. I feel like that. And again, I'm not calling him ugly. I'm just saying he's of that. I feel like he's the most skillful. I feel like he's the most talented guy in the division. I feel like skill for skill. I would put Beneil at, skill for skill, the best fighter in the world. And not a lot of people know that. That's why that's the only reason I'm saying that.
All right. Well, that's a very good list. Speaking of lists, if you're looking at things and ways to improve yourself as a person, top of the list should be the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, the best grooming tool on the market. It will make your balls silky smooth. You can write, somebody's name in your balls if you like. You can shave a pattern, as Dennis would say. You can do Tito Ortiz flame stripes or whatever pattern you like. Either way, it's going to be well groomed from here on out. This is the beginning of a brand new life. Everything will be smelling good. Everything will be nice. They've got products to keep your feet smelling good. They've got nose hair, tweezers. And of course, the best thing of all, the Lawnmower 3.0 will not cut you with its skin-safe technology, which they hired the best engineers in the world to make sure it does that. And also, they're giving away 20% off with the promo code SUBMISSION, so you can get your balls nice and smooth for cheaper, for less. Who doesn't like that? Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. And with those smooth balls, the world is your oyster. So why not check out all of the latest content from all around the world? We're locked down here in Australia, New Zealand, and whatever country you're checking this out from, the geo-blocking is just absolutely out of control. And thanks to our friends at Surfshark, that is no longer the deal for you, because with this VPN, you guys can access any content that you want: boxing, wrestling, the NBA playoffs, sports from all around the world, and other videos that you just cannot reach right now. Get this crazy discount, 83% off and 3 extra months for free by going to surfshark.deals/submission and enter promo code submission. And Cass, how about this? This Monday in Australia and New Zealand, and of course on the weekend in the US, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. There is some money to be made here. There are some bets to be put down. Back yourself with MyBookie and get that winning feeling today. Sign up with the promo code SUBMISSION and MyBookie will match your deposit halfway up to $1,000. Kind of sounds like the perfect time to bet, don't you think, Cass? Bet, win, get paid. Only at MyBookie.
I love it. I love it. But Dan, just going back to what you were saying before about Beneil, there's a lot of dark horses in the division. Your good friend who you gave him the nickname, well, people say it was Chael, but we'll give you the credit, Charlie Olives, who is now the champion in the division. Just wanted to get your thoughts. We haven't had a chance to speak to you since that fight. What did you think of him making all the way and claiming the belt, beating Chandler for it?
I'm not going to lie, lads. I'm not going to lie. She was a long day. She was a long day that day. I was down.
Was that the fishing day, right?
We can call it fishing.
Yeah.
We can call it.
Oh,
we
right.
can call it fishing. We didn't actually get the boat out of the driveway. We started the day with a barbecue. Lads, you know how these barbecues go. I was down in Gisborne with some good friends at my mate Blake's house. They call it the pirate ship. Things went a little skewer. I think the whiskey came out a little too early. 11 a.m. we was doing shots of whiskey. I can't actually remember seeing the fight. I think I stopped watching when Chandler rocked him. I thought Chandler won for an hour until people corrected me. So I don't feel like I'm going to have the best breakdown or analysis of that fight, having watched it in the state I was in.
You know what I love?
And I'm just being honest.
This needs to be like a weekly segment where it's like Dan Hooker gives fight breakdowns, but it's just a series of like reasons why you didn't actually watch the fight. Each week more ridiculous than the other. I was in the pirate ship. We were doing shots.
The big old boys have to be honest with Dan Hooker. I was going to say, you know, the funny thing is we wanted to get you for the post show for that event. I'm kind of bummed out now that it didn't come together, because can you imagine that the banter there? You're like, yeah, Michael Chandler's the new champion. You know?
Yeah.
He didn't even win.
He landed that good punch, and then the other guy fell over. Yeah, no, you'll be like, guys, you'll be like, Dan, what are you on about, mate? So you guys did hit me up. You're like, let's do a post-fight breakdown. I thought something like this might happen. Fishing with the boys tends to turn out this way 10 times out of 10. So I did turn you down for that. I did turn you down for that one.
Smart choice in hindsight. So you haven't seen the fight since then? You haven't rewatched it, nothing?
Nah.
Okay. Chandler isn't the champion, so let's just get that out of the way.
Spoiler alert. Just a spoiler alert. Out of the
It's on the list. It's on the list.
It's on the
I've
list.
added it to the list.
You're probably like, why is he telling me to rematch Chandler when he's the champion? Is this guy nuts? This is a terrible submission radio looking for a fight.
I was like, that's a terrible call out.
Should have gone on another show. What about in terms of who you think is going to fight him next? Because they're saying it's going to be between Dustin and Conor. People are sort of trying to figure out who's going to win this third fight between the two. Where's your pick in that one?
Yeah, that's hard. Like, it's hard to for Conor to make an adjustment in such a short space of time. You know, it's not like he can say, "Oh, I'll just check the calf kick or whatever," something like that. But that's a big change to make. It's kind of like Dustin made the improvements. Dustin made the adjustments. Dustin kind of figured them out. Yeah, I feel like I'm leaning towards Dustin in the rematch, just because of such a short space of time between the first and second fights.
Yeah, understandable. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because you mentioned before, so you trained with Drew Dober in the past at Team Elevation, right?
Yeah. I know Drew. I know Drew real well when I was training in Denver. I think that was 2015, 2016. Yeah, training with the guys there, Neil Magny, Corey Sandhagen, Drew Dober. He you know, we hung out a lot. He let me crash at his place a few times. That's a banger. Him and Brad Riddell,
yeah. So have you been helping Brad out and kind of been like, well, Drew fights like this and Drew does that, or how does that work?
You can't, like, it's a long time ago. It's not like you know, if you would try and break me down from back then, from the guys that trained with me then to now, it's like you change completely as a fighter. And from what I've seen of Drew and his performances in the octagon, like he's leveled up. He's greatly improved. So I feel like, yeah, at no stage has the coaching team at City Kickboxing like come up to me and been like, so what is like, and ask me any questions about Drew. It's not. I just don't think it's relevant. I feel like too much time has passed, and it's just the information's not relevant.
It must be pretty cool, though, to see Brad get such a cool fight, like a high-profile fight in the division after the tough time that he's been going through with these fights, man. I mean, the guy's on a win streak. We were talking to him yesterday. It was really cool to catch up with him. But he's just stuck in America most of his life these days, right? He's not even fighting. He's just stuck in different countries. But he's not even fighting. Or he's ready to fight. And sorry, guys, it's not happening.
Man, the Gregor one, that doesn't happen to me. This happens to like a lot of other fighters. I've got friends that have had like 14 pullouts in their career. I don't know if it's the way I look or I look too nice or something like that, but I don't think anyone has ever pulled out of a fist fight with me. I feel like I'm one of the luckiest guys. I'm like one of the luckiest guys going. Like things. Man, I would be fuming. Brad would be fuming. Like that boy is itching for a fight. That's why it's so exciting, because the way that Drew fights is bull in a china shop. So that hands down needs to be watched. That's going to be a fight of the night.
Brad was comparing it to kind of like shaking up a fizzy drink and then you don't get that release, as in because he didn't get to fight. But all we heard was the fight equivalent of blue balls, which is basically what I think Brad was going through for a very, very long time. So happy and relieved to see Brad fighting this weekend. And of course, before we let you go, speaking of this weekend, we've got to get your thoughts on Israel. Sorry, next weekend. Yeah. Israel, good pick up there, Dennis. Israel versus Marvin Vettori too, man. How do you see this one playing out? As Israel takes on, as he would call him, the Italian.
Yeah, he said something, the Italian job too. I haven't seen that movie. I'll
haven't seen the Italian job? This is the biggest thing that's come out of the interview all day. It's a classic.
One or two I haven't seen. I'll add it to the list, but the secret is there is no list, lads. I'm going to be
40 minutes doing a list for you for the next fight.
There's no list. That is just my way of saying I'm not going to watch that. So I can only give like my perspective of the first fight. It's not like I ever talked about it with Israel or the coaches or anything like that. But I felt like in that first fight, like me personally, I underestimated Vettori. I'd seen him. I think we fought on the same card when I fought Gilbert Burns, and like he was in the warm-up room. Vettori was in the warm-up room, and he was actually like hitting pads with Beneil Dariush, and it was just, I don't know if he was like cutting big weight or he was like really drained, but he was like real slow, like real plodding. So I don't know, like me personally, when I was like, oh, Israel was going to fight that guy that was out back, like hitting pads of Beneil, I was like, what? Israel was going to smoke this guy. Israel was going to just walk through this guy. But I personally, I don't know if Israel did or you or anything like that, but me personally, I underestimated Vettori coming into that first fight. And what he's done since then has been incredible. He's really shown some incredible improvements to earn a title shot and be in the position he's in now. So I don't feel like he's going to get that same kind of like no one's going to underestimate him in the second fight. He's worked himself to a title shot, and so I feel like Israel takes him serious, then Vettori's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see what's next weekend, but I also can't wait to see who's next for you, Dan. We appreciate your time. Guys, make sure to follow Dan, @Dan the Hangman on Twitter, @Dan Hangman on Insta, and check out his gym, the Combat Academy in Auckland, at Combat Academy NZ on Insta as well. One of the best gyms going around in Auckland. And, man, there's Edward Norton, Mark Wahlberg, all these guys are in the movie, and you're not even putting it on the list. You're watching I'm messaging you yesterday. You're watching Street Beefs all day. You don't even watch the movie.
I'll put it on the list. You feel
Thank you so much, Dan. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, lads. And remember, everyone, thanks for helping me find a fight. follow the process. You're all part of the process now. Let's get me a fight September.